So, as you probably know, Capcom has recently confirmed that they're working on more Resident Evil remakes. So today I want to give you my own opinion on what I think is coming next. Everyone in the community right now is excited for the potential Code Veronica remake. And I agree, I'm very excited thinking about that, but I don't think it's going to happen. And this is why. So, let's start by saying that, in my opinion, the most obvious thing right now is that there will be a Resident Evil 5 remake. The reason for that is, well, Resident Evil 5 is famously very similar to Resident Evil 4. The original was pretty much the same thing in terms of gameplay, except with the addition of co-op and online play. The main reason why I think Resident Evil 5 remake is next is, like I said, they're pretty much halfway through developing the game already, because they already have RE4 remake and all they have to do is just make it RE5, which, don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work, I can probably imagine. I don't know much about developing a game, but of course, but I feel like they can just reuse a lot of things from Resident Evil 4 remake. So let's talk about Code Veronica. I personally think Code Veronica would benefit the most from a remake. So I have recently revisited the game on my stream. If you haven't checked it out, you can watch it for yourself if you want to see how the game was like if you've never played it. But in a nutshell, this game has a lot of potential, but it kind of fell short on a lot of things. Like on my first, or I guess my first playthrough in a very long time, which is the one that I did on my stream, I ended up finishing the entire game without ever using any other weapons other than the handgun and the crossbow and the shotgun. Like, they give you the Magnum and the grenade launcher and the AK-47 and like 3 different machine guns, and I ended up never using them. So I would love to see that being more improved. And you know, it doesn't have to have a merchant, but yeah, I'm not even talking about the voice acting, by the way. I'm not considering that.
Chris Redfield. Is he a relative of yours or something?
What was that all about?
I'm not even gonna consider that as a flaw. One of the main flaws that Code Veronica has, in my own personal opinion, is that it just doesn't flow that well. Like, it starts very strong in the graveyard and all that. It's very reminiscent of the RPD section. If you've played RE2 Remake, the B scenario starts you in the graveyard and you have to dodge a bunch of zombies. You know, that still feels like a Resident Evil thing. But a lot of the areas just kind of felt like they weren't tested. So I do believe they could improve on that. Of course, this was 23 years ago. Keep in mind. So they really didn't have the technology or, you know, knowledge back then to create something amazing. But I still feel like they could have at least, you know, try to make it a lot more like RE2 in terms of, you know, how everything is meticulously placed. Like, all the zombies are placed in specific locations, all the items matter, you know. A lot of the areas feel like they could be much cooler than they actually are in the game. Like, the palace could be the new RPD, like in the RE2 remake, how it's, you know, it's not the biggest building, but it has a lot of different corridors and hallways and different small little rooms that expand throughout the game. And, you know, it's not the biggest building, but it feels massive, doesn't it? The RPD, that is. And I think the palace was originally meant to be like that, but it just kind of wasn't. So I would love to see that improved. So in conclusion, I think Code Veronica has a lot more potential to becoming a far better game than RE5 does. Now, don't get me wrong, I would love whatever Capcom decides to put out. I would be okay with. I would absolutely love RE5 remake, and I would absolutely love Resident Evil Code Veronica remake. So it's not a matter of I don't think one deserves it more, but I do believe that the older game, being Code Veronica, would benefit the most, and it would most certainly be almost, if not as good as RE2 remake. Also, before I end this video, I think, personally, this is my own theory, I think eventually Capcom wants to remake all of the games. So we have one timeline that is the canon timeline of the remakes, and eventually lead to, you know, whatever Resident Evil 9 or 10, whatever the next thing is, right? So I believe that's what they want to do eventually. And I think Code Veronica is one of those games that's important for story because it is the continuation of Wesker's story. So everyone right now has been introduced to Wesker. All of the new fans have seen Wesker, but really a lot of the new fans don't even know who Wesker is or what his deal is. So I believe they need that Code Veronica remake to know what Wesker really is about and why he hates Chris so much. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Of course, all of this is theories, but at least we should be happy that we have confirmation that the remakes are indeed being worked on and they're happening. At least, well, the next one is being in the works, at least one game. Anyway, as always, if you haven't already, please subscribe with all notifications to know when I go live and when I upload, and I look forward to reading your comments. Don't forget, leave a like, it helps me out immensely, and yeah, join us on Discord. Maybe we'll have something to talk about on there too. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.